Okay, so the third eye chakra, mentioned it before. Just gonna throw a couple things out. Pineal gland, pituitary gland. 3 is triangle. Pi is 3.14, and then there's an I above the 3. So you have pi, tri, I. Third eye chakra is the 6th chakra. We have 12 cranial nerves, and we have 8 lobes. 12 times 8 is 96. Now technically these two petals actually represent 48 and 48, which is 96. Now it's the 6th chakra, 48 petals. 6 times 8 is 48, which means 6 times 16 is 96. And that's 16, the throat chakra. And we have 8 cervical nerve pairs in our throat, or neck, which is 16 nerves. So yeah, that sounds all goofy and shit. It's just shower thoughts. But it brings me to evolution. Again. So basically we have nerve ganglia that go all the way down our spine. This is an insect's nervous system. This is basically a horseshoe crab's nervous system. Then you have the octopi, or God's eye, third eye. Now I want to stop, but I just can't stop. 700 million years ago, you have the sponge, parazoa, early stimulus, digestive cavity, heart, and lungs. Of course, they evolved into ctenophores, which look like a spine and a crown, floating nervous systems. Ultimately, you have flatworms and worms. These will become radial animals, which are protostomes. You have length animals, which become deuterostomes, like starfish, the pentamorph like us. These animals have decentralized nervous systems. We have centralized nervous systems. Cephalopods are soft, with just a hard beak, and the arthropods are hard on the outside, soft on the inside, whereas we are hard on the inside, soft on the outside. So you could say that 8s evolve here, which are arachnids with 8 limbs, arthropods with 8 limbs, and the octopi, cephalopods, have 8 limbs, with the exception of a squid, which is 10, like camel spiders. Now arachnids have 8 limbs, and the insects have 6. But 2 of these limbs are actually going to grow into wings. They're going to evolve into wings. Now, spiders have 2, 4, 6, or 8 eyeballs, but that's going to reduce down to 2 compound eyeballs of insects. Now technically, with the exception of human or tailless animals, they have 6 limbs, 2 arms, 2 legs, a head, and a tail. So this lineage is basically 10, 8, 6, and ours is 6 and 5. There are 2 types of ganglia in our bodies, sensory and motor. The sensory ganglia are ovoid, or oval. These are known as ovoids. Remember how I was saying we evolved from fungus? This is where the Stone Ape theory kind of comes into play. We evolved from the fungus later on. We find fungus as a food source and it makes us smarter. And we start domesticating ourselves. As we domesticate ourselves, our genes alter. And here's the connection to the sponge from the fungus. Choanozoa or choanoflagellates. Then you have your motor ganglia, which are located in the spine, form a long chain from the base of the skull down to the tail end of the spine. Now that would be your motile energy, and the sensory would be the metabolic. Now this is the heart chakra. There's 12 petals, which is 12 of the thoracic region. Now just throwing this out here before I quit. This is a square. This is a circle. You square the circle. Then you get pi all the way up to the top. And the crown chakra, which is our brain, is the square circle pi. Now technically that could mean anything because they're depicted in different ways. Plus I really don't know shit. So as I've mentioned before, octopi is the circumference of the planet, which is roughly 25. And our brains don't fully form until we're about 25. So we have octopi, pi, God's eye, and tri. And plus the configuration here is tri-Y, because you have 3 Y's. Or it's configured with a plus X. Well, it looks more like this, technically.